This is the second assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life in 2 months. First one, we obviously saw what happened there. It was a horrible, evil incident brought on upon by a delusional person who was clearly anti-Trump. And this one has all the more evidence and all the more confusion of how it even happened in the first place. Because let me not bore you with any beating around the bush. Donald Trump was golfing at the time of this incident. And let's just make this very clear. It was not scheduled. It was an unscheduled, impromptu visit to the golf course made by Donald Trump. Executive decision to go golfing just because he wanted to. So there was no public announcement. No news broadcasting about Donald Trump's desire to go. And it was impromptu. And yet somehow, somebody was able to, with, I believe it was reported, an AK-47, post up at the only hole on this golf course that has a direct line of sight from the road behind it, or the road next to it, and was able to be there at the exact time that he would have been golfing on that hole. Now, I'm not making any absolute claims here, but what I am saying is that the likelihood this person just happened to get lucky with their time and place is astronomical. It is far more likely that there was an intentionality behind this, that somebody told somebody that Donald Trump had made an impromptu decision to go golfing, and they thought that they would take it upon themselves to rid their favored party of the threat that is the incumbent president. Now, this article right here is titled, "Trump Releases Statement Following Attempted Assassination. Kamala Biden Follow Suit." I'm very proud to be an American. Frankly, I'm very proud to be an American. Very proud. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Former President Donald Trump released a statement late on Sunday night after an attempted assassination on Sunday at a golf course he owns in Florida. "I would like to thank everyone for your concern and well wishes. It was certainly an interesting day," Trump posted on social media. "Most importantly, I want to thank the U.S. Secret Service Sheriff Rick Bradshaw and his office of brave and dedicated patriots, and all of law enforcement for the incredible job done today at Trump International in keeping me as the 45th President of the United States and the Republican nominee in the upcoming presidential election safe. The job done was absolutely outstanding," he added. "I am very proud to be an American." Authorities arrested 58-year-old Ryan Ralph, a Democrat donor with a criminal history, after the Secret Service noticed his AK-47-style rifle as he hid in some shrubbery only a few hundred yards away from Trump at Trump International Golf Course, West Palm Beach. When he was engaged by federal law enforcement officers, he ran and got into a car and drove off. Fortunately, a witness got a photo of the car and a license plate, allowing police to quickly locate him and take him into custody. President Joe Biden said in his statement that he was briefed on the situation and relieved that the former president is unharmed. Right. I'm not even going to do a voice for Joe Biden because it's just like an old man who doesn't know how to hold his poop into his pants. As I have said many times, there is no place for political violence for any violence in our country. That's not true. And I have directed my team to continue to ensure that Secret Service has every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to ensure the former president's continued safety. I'm sorry. I wouldn't trust the protective services of the opposing party who has already made very clear that he thinks that you're a literal Nazi white supremacist who is the greatest threat to democracy. I would not trust a single ounce of protective services given to me by that person. Because I already know where he stands, and I already know where he's going to put people who he's going to hire. And the people he hires are most likely going to reflect the same positions that he holds to. So if I'm getting protective services from my opposition, and my opposition thinks that I am an absolute piece of trash that deserves to die, I'm not going to take it on good authority that I am going to take it on pretty good authority, general reasonable doubt, right? That the people acting as my protective services are likely not going to do their best to protect me if they hold to the same values and ethics as the person who is trying to end me and has made many, many public statements stating that I am an unmitigated enemy that deserves punishment and death. If that's the person offering me protective services and then telling his actual followers to go out and continue to wish death upon me, I'm not keeping that protective service. Donald Trump should do something wise in this instance and gather up a mercenary force to watch over him, pay them the top dollar that he can afford, and make sure that they stay by his side and protect him with their life, not like the Secret Service, who is clearly in the government pocket. Because there's no way that an impromptu visit to a golf course just so happens to coincide with a random guy, a random leftist criminal, perching up behind a bush in the only place where he'd have a clear line of sight. How did he get a gun in the first place? He obviously didn't buy it from an actual local establishment because guess what? You can't buy a firearm if you have a criminal background. So this gentleman here obtained a firearm illegally, was somehow notified of Donald Trump's exact time, location, and whereabouts, and then just got run off. The only good news about this is that this gentleman was arrested. We'll see how long he survives in custody before he randomly snaps his own neck like Mr. Epstein. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is apparently the police pulling over the gentleman who is responsible for the attempted assassination on Donald Trump's life. The FBI said it was investigating what appears to be an attempted assassination of the former president, at least the second time that someone has tried to kill him. Trump was shot in the head in July during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania, and the Secret Service was criticized for failing to provide adequate protection. Again, the shadiness around that. Oh, we're not going to post up on a slightly canted roof just because it's slightly canted. We're going to put everyone inside the building. Oh, we're going to allow a person to fly a drone over a government location, something that can't be done because of the programming that's in the drones. We're going to allow this person to walk around with a fully loaded up kit firearm, ready to go. No problem there. And then when we get alerted to the situation, we're not going to do a daggum thing. And then we're going to blame the local police for having not secured that roof. When it was our job because we're the Federal Protection Service. Because we're the Secret Service that's supposed to put our lives on the line. Meanwhile, when shots are ringing out, we're going to duck behind the person we're supposed to be protecting. And we can't even holster our freaking gun. Multiple Secret Services members, in fact, a very prominent Secret Service member has said that she does not like Donald Trump, that she's not willing to put her life on the line for Donald Trump. Why are you on his detail? Why are you in the Secret Service? The only people who should be allowed in the Secret Service are people who are able to keep themselves neutral and completely centrist, protecting any and every president that comes into being. The fact that we have such a stark political divide and it has infected the government agencies that we are currently being run by in this country, and the Secret Service is clearly divided or clearly canted towards one side, proves to me that there is no good reason to trust a single thing that comes out of the federal government today. And it just proves to me that Donald Trump has a hit out on his head, that the federal leftist government, the leftist oligarchy, is doing everything they can to end this man's life. They started by slandering him. He was once a part of their ranks. He was once one of them. He was beloved by all of Hollywood and all of anybody who is anybody. And then the second he starts to run for president in the Republican Party, which he might have started to do as a joke, but then they insulted him for it, so he took it seriously and actually won the daggum thing. They started to insult him. They alienated him. They started to bash him and tell everyone that he was an absolute evil, immoral piece of human filth. They decided that they didn't have enough regarding their friendship to him, and because he happened to cross to a different political party and still said the exact same things that he's always said in the past, people had asked him multiple times to run for president as well. And then finally when he does, they say he's an evil, Nazi, white supremacist, racist, sexist, homophobic piece of trash. Right. They try to ruin his name. They try to take away every ounce of credibility that they have with him, right? Then they try to completely ruin his livelihood. They throw lawsuits at him, lawsuit after lawsuit. He's fined millions of dollars, and then eventually it gets to a point where they start investigating him and throwing him into horrible situations where he's being accused of literal criminal activity. Felonies, not misdemeanors, felonies. They're accusing him of felonies. They convict him on a baseless accusation of being an actual felon. Baseless convictions. And when they couldn't get him to go away from insulting his character, dirtying his reputation, suing him into oblivion, and trying to throw him into prison, they send a bullet down range. Yeah. They've been trying to get rid of Donald Trump in every possible way that they can think of. And the only result, the only thing that they can resort to now is actual viable threats to his life. Bullets whizzing past his head, a second attempt at assassination, all this crazy trash going on. The leftist governmental oligarchy is desperate to get this man out of the race, is desperate to allow cackling Kamala to wind up in the White House. Because it fits the leftist oligarchs better, as opposed to someone who actually genuinely cares about the American people, and even if he doesn't care about every single individual person as a unique individual, he still cares that the overall American economic system works to the benefit of every person involved in it. He still cares that the entirety of the greatest nation on earth doesn't sink itself into the abyss of darkness and destruction and the sin that we have been pushing ourselves into day by day, because he doesn't want another country to come over and topple us with ease because of being weakened by a bunch of leftist bull. So whether or not he cares about you or me in a specific individual capacity doesn't matter. He cares about the overall well-being of the nation. As opposed to cackling Kamala, who cares about the well-being of other nations, who cares about the well-being of migrants coming in and ruining the livelihoods of every single American who's affected by some random illegal immigrant that has broken the law to get here, has not taken the necessary path to be here, and is ultimately negatively affecting every single person that they come in contact with. As Donald Trump says, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets. It's a great song that they made that into, by the way. I know it was supposed to trash Trump, but it's actually fun and amazing. Now, we need Trump to win this election if America's going to survive as a nation. Cackling Kamala can't get into office. The leftist regime has to be toppled. All right? It's gotten to such a massive, horrifying degree that it has to end. It has to end. We can't allow this infection to go on any longer. We have to actually fight for our nation. All right? The best way to do that is to rally with people, to spread the word, to give this information to every single person that you possibly can. Don't let anything happen in the dark anymore. We right now are in the death throes of the leftist oligarchy as they attempt to completely ruin everything around them, as a spiteful child would if they were told to share their toys with somebody else and they broke it because they didn't want to have to give it to somebody else. We're currently in the death throes of a beast that is unwilling to accept that nobody wants it. It is trying with every ounce of its willpower to fight back and to break the neck of the individuals who have finally started to overcome it. There's a great deal of disinfectant that has been shown on this disease that is the leftist oligarchy. And they are desperate to go back into the dark, to muck themselves up again, because it feels better than being shown in the light and being shown what clean really looks like. So go out there, vote for Donald Trump. If you can do early voting, do early voting. If you can only do November 5th, go and do November 5th. But make sure that your voice is heard and counted as accurately and effectively as possible. And support major groups and movements that are trying to help this nation avoid complete obliteration. And to any undecided voters, just remember, the libertarian candidates, the middle centrist party candidates, have already endorsed Trump. Lifelong Democrats have endorsed Trump because they recognize the evil that is the modern American left, which cackling Kamala and sleepy Joe Biden are a part of. Their reign in the American political system has to end if the nation is to go on. It has to. It absolutely has to come to an end. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of the week.